When looking for the king of podcasts, you're at the wrong channel.
Well, excuse me!
Looking for good ideas for life? You're far from good hands.
Hey, bud, what's your problem?
If you think the listener is always right, you're far from the right place.
Out of order! Even in the future, nothing works!
Hosted by a Northeasterner by birth, but a rebel by choice.
Are you threatening me?
If you want a host that floats between love and madness,
and we know the night is always gonna be here anyway. Thinking of you's working up my appetite, looking forward to a little afternoon delight.
then play on and listen to Crazy Train Radio.
All right, guys, listen to this blues riff and B. Watch me for the changes and try and keep up, okay?
Warning, creators of this game do understand the subject matter may be offensive to some, but they do honor the families and people that have been affected by these real-life tragedies that these individuals have caused. Want to play a game?
Oh, yeah!
Lover of true crime?
Yes, yes, yes.
Well, we got an interesting game for you to check out.
Wow.
With the mashup of influences such as horror movies, collecting cards, and RPGs.
What?
Led to giving birth to an incredible creation of this game, Killers, the card game.
You are all my children now.
This game is a collectible trading card game featuring some of the most infamous killers, with tidbits of trivia on the back of each card to help you learn some insight to each criminal.
Who the hell are you?
Let's not forget, during the game, cops will be chasing you and these criminals.
I'm a cop, you idiot!
However, check out their website listed through all social media today, which can be found under Killers, the card game.
Am I on the internet?
I want to play a game.
Hey folks, it's your least favorite host in the podcast world, Croc, Jonathan Steele. And boy, do we have a good one for you today.
Hi, I'm Nuggs The Final Girl, and you're listening to Crazy Train Radio.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, including the big one in the room. And I'm talking about me, folks, so don't even, jump to conclusions. Well, you will anyway, but I don't give a shit. So I'm going down a different path tonight with this recording, and because she had come up on the show's IG feed, and I'm nosy in some ways, and was looking at some of the pictures and reels, I guess they call them, these kids today, and figured, what the hell, let me ask her on. And anyway, she does streaming, she does some reviews, and we'll get into all that, but she is known as Nuggs The Final Girl. How are you?
I'm doing so good. Thank you for having me.
And we were scheduled for last week, but we had to do a quick schedule change because of something going on personally. Not my business to put it out there. But all is well. I just asked her before we hit the record button. But
That's right.
Nuggs, how are you doing? What's going on?
I'm doing fantastic. I've been working on kind of everything, like getting my content out there, streaming. I also just joined the House of Everlasting Shadow as co-host for their platform. So that's super exciting, but just kind of busy.
Yeah, exactly. And we'll touch on all that. And obviously, I know a little bit from talking with you over IG before getting into things.
Yeah.
And just know you, well, everybody has a personal life too. And obviously, I know you, I'm not going to sedate what I know because that's the whole respect thing. And, it's not for me to put out there. But I'm curious to know.
Sure.
How do we manage to do everything we do as far as trying to be a content provider, but also balancing either a work life and or personal life now? I know the content is leaning towards becoming work in some aspects for you, but how do we balance all that?
Very awkwardly is how I do it. Right now I'm working on what really works in my life. So I like schedule out certain things to post, do a little bit of research if I need to on that subject or movie or video game. But a lot of it is time management. A lot of it is having a really, really good support system of like, hey, you said you were going to do this. Where is it? Are you going to work on it? Like, people keeping me in check is a huge thing because I can be a space cadet sometimes.
And may the Schwartz spirit
and just go off on tangents and do stuff that I don't need to be doing. So it's a struggle. It's taken probably a good 2.5, 3 years of being on the internet and figuring out what works. If I really wanted to do this as a job and create content and stream video games for like everyone to see. So yeah, it's been a wild like 3-ish years to get to where I am now.
Am I on the internet?
Yeah. Now, the other new thing, before we get back into the streaming and everything, and we were kind of joking about this when we were going back and forth, is, and I know nothing about the platform, only things I heard. And you were new to the platform, but I of OnlyFans, and I'm familiar because I was following another story, and the guy listening in would know what I'm talking about with Mandy Rose, who was a WWE superstar, had a similar account, wasn't OnlyFans, I believe, because of the drama get released, it increased sales, all that fun stuff. Now it's not the time or the place for that story's out there, and I hope for the best for her. It sounds like it's working out right now,
right?
And I saw her on Tamron Hall as of this morning, the day of the recording, talking about things. So, like I said, her story is out there. This ain't the time or the place to tell her story. But anyway, you said you're new to OnlyFans, and I should mention that we will have links to Nuggs, all her links, her LinkedIn, her Twitch, her, everything she does, we have links to when you see this or listen to this episode. So with the OnlyFans though.
Yes.
How trepidatious, what have you learned about the outlet so far? Because like I said, I'm not a subscriber to anybody. It's not personal to you or anything.
No, I take no offense.
Yeah. So what have you learned? Because you said you're new to that outlet as well.
So I am new to it because I wouldn't necessarily say against it personally, but it just wasn't something that I originally had any interest in doing because of the stigma that the website has. Usually it's like very pornographic and like all kinds of stuff. But Instagram and Facebook and they kept taking my subscription away, like my ability to charge a subscription.
What's going on? They confiscated everything, even the stuff we didn't steal.
For like what most people would say were PG-13 photos. So that greatly impacted my like income. And so I was like, where can I go that I won't get nicked for like showing a nipple or like showing a little bit more cleavage? Because on my profile I don't do porn, I don't do anything overly lewd, but like think boudoir, sexy, teasy with like a hint of sass is basically what I give. A little bit further than what Elvira puts out there, but that's like kind of the vibe, like panties and a shirt.
For 2023.
Yeah, exactly. I'm like Elvira's like other side of the coin, where she's like dark and vampire-y. I am the final girl, so I'm kind of like the MacGyver. Like I always find a way to survive.
Are we talking 80s MacGyver?
Yes, of course.
Okay.
But yeah,
we're showing our age here, folks. So.
Exactly. But yeah, I've been compared to a mix of like Elvira, Kitty from that 70s show, and Claire Redfield is like the vibe that I give off. But back to OnlyFans. Yeah, that wasn't something that I was originally intending on doing, but because Meta was punishing me for trying to monetize on like PG-13 photos, I was like, there's nowhere else to put this stuff. And like, I'm trying to make a living on the internet. So that was like the next step.
It's mine, you understand? Mine! All mine! Get back in there!
Well, with that, and there's another connection to Elvira we were talking about, but I'll leave that conversation to the side, just because we're going to continue to refer to our guest as Nuggs, the final girl. And I'm not saying that tongue in cheek, but there's when she brought up Elvira again, there's a little tongue in cheek. I remember one of the first conversations we had, and I'll leave it at that. And I appreciate that connection. Yeah, I got a kick out of that when it was play Connect the Dots.
Yeah,
and she appreciated that. It was that whole thing, and I'm like, man, I love her. She's great, when we had to play Connect the Dots. But yeah, we'll leave that there and let the internet trolls do their work there. But well, I'll let them figure out what we're talking about. But obviously, sex sells and all that stuff. I'm not trying to sound naive, and I even had a couple messages come my way when I announced that Nuggs was going to do a taping with us. Nothing horrible, but it's like, and like I said, I'm not naive. Sex sells. She's and I mean this respectfully.
No, please.
A curvy woman, and she has attributes, and there's different things that appeal to her. And I'm like, with these messages, like, well, no shit.
Yeah.
like you're hitting me with, wow, did you? I know, but here's the funny part, folks. I also happened to have a conversation or two with her. It wasn't solely about that.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? It's like there's actually some brains there and gray matter in here. And
I'd like to think there's brains in here.
Yeah. There's more than just than meets the eye in this case here. Because I like to be real with people. And I don't have a show. I don't have a show for 10 years by going with the generic questions and not having fun and real conversations.
Yeah.
So there's obviously, from what I had seen, there was obviously more to you than just, the
figure.
Your looks. Yeah. Well, I'm working on my girlish figure, but that's a whole nother. Yeah,
it's a work in process.
We won't go. We won't go there because otherwise, because people will take it with the different, letters that they throw out there in the different communities, and I don't mean any of that. But anyway, so last question with the OnlyFans.
Sure.
And like I said, I'm not naive. Sex sells, all that fun stuff. How far? And you were talking about the PG-13 and that balance of where I can do subscriptions for. And you talked about the mix of the content you put out there. But I do know, and I hope I'm not speaking out of tune here.
No.
You do have a family.
Yes.
And so, and everybody has different, values or morals or whatever the case is. So how far are you willing to take it to obviously get the most bang for your buck? Yes, tongue in cheek when I say that. But also, like you said, I don't want to have nudity. I don't want to do, where do you set that standard?
Basically, I don't do porn and I don't show naked below the belt, basically. I do, show off the girls on OnlyFans. But that's what most people want to see. That's the bang for your buck type of deal on that site. But yeah, I've always said, because I want this to be a good brand and marketable to all kinds of other things. I've never wanted to be known just for that. That's why I am very knowledgeable in like games and horror and like cosplay and all kinds of other stuff.
Yes, exactly. Well, before we touch on some of those other things, the cosplay and all that, and I just watched a video you did so I figured this was a couple months ago, but I figured I'd ask.
Sure.
Because it's still topical and it's amazing. I just spoke to and recorded with Steve Barton, Uncle Creepy, who is a producer and was involved in Dread Central and all that stuff.
Yeah.
I'm sure you know the name.
Yeah.
I know where I'm going with this. Yeah, Steve's a great dude. I've known most of that gang over at Terrifier. And Terrifier 2's like the latest craze, rightfully so. Yeah. And good bunch of folks there. I love Lauren. I love, David. They all have become friends of the show. And, people I've actually communicate non-entertainment wise.
Right. Leisurely.
So, yeah, we may have had a couple drinks and, somebody's, it tends to happen with show guests.
Exactly.
We end up becoming simpatico or whatever the word is, and
exactly.
I got stories from a show in Kentucky recently, but that's for another time or another place when we were drinking whiskey. Nightmare folks and a couple Halloween folks and whatnot. But so your video was on the trailer of Terrifier 2. So did you see the movie?
Oh yes.
Okay. So, because it's funny with her videos, and you could check it on YouTube and stuff when they do she does the trailer reviews and different things. She's up in a corner talking about the trailer. And, look at this, look at that. Well, obviously, we're several months into it now. The DVD's out.
Exactly.
The movie's been streaming, all that. So, I'm not speaking out of tune here, but it's just funny with it. She was pointing different things out. But yet there were a lot of the stuff she pointed out in this 3-minute video, whatever it was topics of conversation in the film, but also online. So,
yes.
What did you think of the movie And was it something you were looking forward to seeing as a horror fan?
So as a horror fan, I was very excited for Terrifier 2. The first one like piqued my interest. It was a really good like outing, a first showing, like this is where we want to take Art the Clown. And then and then Terrifier 2, the only thing, I only have like one criticism of it. The only thing that I was frustrated with was the marketing of our final girl, because they said that she was a final girl. So we knew she was going to survive before we even went into watching the movie. So that took me out of feeling like invested really in her character, because I was like, oh, I know she's going to live. So like nothing happening really to her throughout the whole movie has any consequence to it. Like, yes, she, spoiler alert, she gets like cut up and beaten up and stuff, but like
she walks away with a couple of bruises and whatnot.
Yeah, she lives. So that was my only like frustration with it, because for me, the less that is shown or said is best for horror, because I want to be shocked. I want to be scared. I mean, the publicity for the movie, other than that, absolutely fantastic. People fainting, like that's what you want to hear going into a movie like that.
Which was genuine, by the way.
Yeah, absolutely. People were legitimately throwing up. And to me, a very seasoned and appreciationist of like slasher and gore, I thought it was great because there was a little tongue-in-cheek in there. Like, so to me, I didn't pass out or throw up, but it was a fantastic movie. But yeah, the only thing was that I wish they didn't say that she was a final girl, because that part kind of for me.
Yeah. I enjoyed the movie, and like I said, I truly liked the people. Being a Northeast guy,
exactly.
You're further. You're in Maine.
Yeah.
Are you considered Northeast when we say Maine?
Oh yeah.
Well, geographically, it's on the map. Yeah,
we're basically Canada.
Yeah, but what I mean is, when we say Northeasterners, most people talk Philadelphia, New York, Boston. You know what I'm saying? There's like a But would you consider more Northeasterners
more like New Englanders?
Okay,
is really what it is. I mean, home to Stephen King, lives like just a hop, skip, and a jump over there.
Over in Bangor,
Yep.
Yeah, and it's hilarious. I mentioned wrestling a little while ago with the Mandy Rose story and stuff, but I always think it whenever Stephen King's name comes up, and I love a lot of his stuff and everything from what I've seen and watched and yada yada yada. Haven't read any of the books. I want to get into reading his books.
They're so good. Even if you do audiobooks, totally.
But
choice.
Whenever I hear his name, I think of the one story, and there was a wrestler by the name of Tugboat back in the late 80s, early 90s, and Shockmaster and whatever stuff that he's known for. That's here and there. But he told me a story years ago when they were on the road, and they had a double shot back in the day in the early 90s of, it was like maybe a 1:00 show in Bangor, somewhere in Maine, one of the few major towns in Maine.
Yeah.
And then an 8:00 in Boston.
Oof.
Yeah. So, it was something geographically, whatever, possible. So they're on early, him and his tag partner are on early on the first show. And then you would throw it was quickly, like a lot of the guys wouldn't change or whatnot and stuff like that.
Yeah.
They would quickly, they wrestle their match, towel off, maybe get rinsed off real quick, but they would keep their gear under their street clothes,
Yep.
Because obviously you're going to jump in a car 3, 4, 5 hours to the next town,
Yeah.
especially in a
exactly.
double shot like two and work another show. So quickly rinse off. And these guys, they like to have a beer or two, but these guys weren't the party animals that we hear of other guys, right? Of that genre, of that era.
Yeah.
They would Tugboat and Earthquake where guys will have a couple beers, whatnot, but they would go back to their room and read type deal. And Tugboat liked to read Stephen King and things. He has very eclectic tastes.
Yeah.
But Stephen King was on his reading list because he would, after a couple drinks, he might go read some of his book and try to get some sleep because of how crazy the schedule was at the time. Well, anyway, long story short, they were in the banquet area. They work early in the show, quickly rinse off, towel off, get ready to go. Well, obviously, as you mentioned, Mr. King lives in that neck of the woods.
Area.
And they're like, Tugboat says, we got to stop and get a picture in front of his house, obviously with the gate.
Absolutely. Do the whole
the horror
shebang.
fans know what I'm talking about. You get the gate, and it's almost like a museum stop or it's a rite of passage.
Yeah,
it's a rite of passage in the area. So he's like, we gotta stop and get pictures, right? It was close enough that they weren't going out of their way to head to the highway to the other show in Boston or wherever it was. So sure enough, right place, right time. Tugboat has his book. They get out, and this is before digital cameras and cell phones. He had to scroll. Boom. Yep. They each get a picture in front of the house. Oh, yeah, this is cool. We might as well. We're here. Well, sure enough, gates start opening.
Nice.
Here comes Steven to go get his kids from
like school
or hockey practice or whatever it was. It was in the afternoon. And he, of course, imagine a big 6'8" guy, 400 pounds. Yeah. Mr. King. And he happened to have one of his books he just bought in the car. Steven stops and sees these guys, two huge guys go, hey, aren't you guys Earthquake and type? Because Stephen King's a wrestling fan.
Yeah, that's so
or he
cool.
wasn't. He looks out and goes, because he's used to people taking pictures and stuff. Yeah. And goes, wait. Hey, aren't you guys, didn't you guys just work a show and up the street? Yeah. So it was like a mutual fan of each other. Yeah, it was funny as hell that when and it's funny when he tells a story, you got these two guys, 6'8", 400 plus pounds guy. And Steven, when he pulls up and rolls down the window, hey, aren't you two? Yeah. Oh boy. But back to you. Long story short, yeah. So where did Nuggs The Final Girl come from? The moniker?
Well, I started my journey as Nuggs, just Nuggs. And then I am a huge horror fan, and I wanted some like branding, but I also wanted something that is me. So I am like pretty reliable and pretty crafty. Like I know how to like fight, and like I can use a gun, and I can actually like do things. But I also,
hence the MacGyver reference earlier.
Yeah, exactly. But I look like the way that I do, so it's like this really cool juxtaposition of like I can hold my own, I can fight, I can like be with the boys, if you will. But then I also embody and look very feminine, I guess is the best way to put it. So it's a huge selling point that I like body, brains, skills, horror. There it is.
It's funny, and I'm not in a relationship right now, and I'll be honest, but I am still close with my ex-girlfriend. And it's funny, I just sent her a gift, just because I knew it would fit her. clothes wise. And the thing the way you said that about the body, the brains, and right. It just reminded me of something I always tell her, and which is true because that's what attracted me to her.
Yeah.
And she's a triple threat.
Yes.
And I say, I'm getting the vibe from you because we don't know each other super well. We've had conversations going into this, but I get this vibe from you. But I always said she's a triple threat. She has the body, the brains, and the big thing, the heart. Because she, in her particular case, she is a big animal lover.
Aw, that's
and
so
she
sweet.
there's that caring element to her.
Absolutely.
So I always said she was the triple threat. Like I said, she's got the heart, the brains, the body. Because we all know the body can go.
Exactly.
And I'm not saying, things change. We get older, whatever the case.
Yeah.
Not all the time, but, you're always going to have the brains. And at this stage of our lives in our 30s and stuff, you're always going to have that heart. Your DNA from a personality standpoint is you're locked in.
Yeah.
Yeah, from the brain and the ticker standpoint.
Yeah.
So with that being said, streaming.
Yes.
And I actually did write down some stuff because this was not, it might sound like a lot of this is off the cuff, and tonight very loosely off the cuff, as you've heard the first part of this as we gotten going. But like I said, I'm new to watching like folks on streaming, like Twitch is the big one. And there's some other outlets that are intertwined with that. And the guy, Ray, who's listening in, is learning that stuff as well. Ray, I might as well real quick. Do you want to say hello or anything, Ray, or do you want to wait until I get into the streaming stuff here?
Hi, Nuggs. How's it going? My name's Ray.
Hi, Ray. It's so nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you.
Yeah, he's a movie guy. He does the streaming. He's going to school for all this stuff. So, like I said, I figured it's also good to learn from the real world side of things too, because you've been doing this.
Yeah, for just about 3 years, maybe a little over. So
you had that real world experience of, hey, I'm
failing miserably and then working.
She has 2 listeners, 2 followers. She sucks at this shit. No,
exactly.
I don't know why the hell I've been talking with her. No, no, but yeah. So first and foremost, with the streaming side of things, where did you say, I want to start doing this, and why did you want to get into this and do what you're doing?
I'm very charismatic. So
you said you're artsy.
Yes, very artsy. I was really, I was a theater kid in high school. So I was really big into Broadway and like drag queens and all this other stuff. But I also was really into horror and how that can go literally every which way. You can have a horror comedy, you can have a horror musical, it can be gritty, it can, there's all different ways to put it. But I got into streaming because all of my friends said it was really funny to watch me get scared, because I play only horror games when I stream, and I have bit alerts and channel rewards of jump scares. So if people want to use their channel points, it plays like a sound and it scares me, so I react and they get to see how scared I get. And I have a heart rate monitor, so it shows my heart rate throughout the stream, and then sometimes it will spike up. And so people said it was really fun to watch, and I say ridiculous things and like off the cuff craziness when I'm playing. So yeah, basically my friends and family were just like, this is just something that you should do. So then I just did it.
Now, That's curious to know. Where does, and I'm not, I've heard of them, obviously. Where does the heart monitor go?
So it goes right where the bra, like right underneath the bra strap would be, but like on your chest. So,
yeah. Well, obviously that's where the heart usually is. So last I heard that, with that medical degree I got.
But yeah, you just wear it underneath your shirt and you link it up to your phone, and then it syncs to whatever service you're using. Like I use OBS. So it links up to that, and then you guys see it.
Yeah. Well, it's funny. Sidetrack. I got to tell the story since we're talking parts. Because I've had my share of medical stuff, and we're good, all good.
That's good.
But 10 years, but it's hilarious because anyway, I had to do this. I don't know if you ever had surgery and whatnot. And so they had to do, pre-surgical exam, and part of it's a chest X-ray and whatnot. And I go, playing dumb, it's really the sarcastic son bitch that I am. I go, when I saw the film, I go, hey, what's that gray matter right here? Right? Point on the left side of your chest, where the left side of your chest would be. They go, girl's like, because normally they can't tell you much, but this is a dumb enough question she can answer. She goes, well, that's your heart, that gray matter. I said, well, can I get a copy of that? She goes, why? I said, well, I have family members that tell me I don't have a heart, so I want to prove there's something physically there.
Exactly. It's gray, but it's there.
You're saying it's physically there. I need to prove to people that say I'm heartless that it's there. But so as soon as you said the heart monitor, it's one of those dirty jokes I tell. There's another one I got to tell you, but I'm not going to tell it on the air. You would appreciate it, but when it comes to that whole thing. But so speaking of gaming and all that fun stuff with what you do in the horror games, what is the earliest memory you have of gaming in general? And do you remember what some of those early games you played were?
So my family had an Atari for a little bit. So we had that. For those of you who don't know, Atari is one of the first gaming consoles.
Right before NES, but go ahead.
One of the first, because there was also like Dreamscape, something like that. But yeah, so I played a little Atari, but mostly I didn't really start gaming until I was in like my mid to late 20s. Mostly because my brother was the gamer. I didn't get like any games for birthdays or anything, even though I would like be interested and ask for them. I always got traditionally girly things. But then my husband got me into gaming more and more, because I also had some pretty bad experiences with like ex-boyfriends and stuff. I had ex-boyfriend that was severely addicted to World of Warcraft. So much so that it affected day-to-day life. So I'm a little biased on that, but
hey, I'm over here. No wonder she does OnlyFans. Hey, I'm over here. No, go ahead.
But the games that I did have access to when I was younger was like Cool Borders and like Tony Hawk and
early PlayStation stuff.
Yeah, exactly. Early PlayStation stuff. But then I didn't game for like 20 years. And then as I got older, I got more and more into it. I was really bad at first person shooters, but then I just played it more and more. And now I'm decent, I like to think. I don't play like PUBG or Apex or anything like that because I get too nervous. I'm like really anxious, and knowing that people are out to kill me that are actual people like terrifies me, because I'm like, I don't want to do bad. I have to do good. And if I do bad, then I did bad. So, we're talking
within the game, kill you, correct?
Yes. Okay. Within the game. They're not going to kill me in real life.
Okay. Yeah. Well, I just don't, I don't want people thinking that people are actually out to track Nuggs down.
Yeah, no, it's not like that horror movie that came out that was about the game. I don't know. Anyway, so yeah,
Doom.
yeah. But yeah, so I didn't game for a really long time, and then like I said, my husband got me back into it, and then it just kind of took off, and that's when my friends and family were like, "You are freaking hilarious getting scared, so do that."
That's just what you mentioned. So what does a booking session, or I shouldn't say booking session, but I was thinking about what you said earlier as far as time management and schedule and everything else, because you do have a family and a personal life and all that stuff, and trying to schedule things out. So with that being said, what does a streaming session and or content creation look like for you? On a typical day, do you, I'm going to do reviews one day, I'm going to do the trailers another day, the gaming. How do you structure all that?
So I stream on Twitch on Wednesdays and Thursdays. And then like I said, I got brought on to the House of Everlasting Shadow as a co-host. So I will be streaming with Griff and the House of Everlasting Shadow on Fridays and Saturdays. So a typical day is like I wake up, I do the family thing, breakfast, all that stuff. Then I'll go into doing content for like Instagram, OnlyFans, TikTok, Facebook. Then we edit it. Then we publish it throughout the day. And then on Wednesdays, towards the evening around 8:00 is when I start streaming. But before that, I, get re-gussied up or whatever and make sure all my systems are working, restart the computer just to, double check, boot everything up, make sure the camera is right, make sure the mic is working. And then I just sit and game for a few hours, talk with my community. We have the best community. Everyone's super nice. And we have like a blast every time, even if we're just chatting. Because I do just chatting sometimes, but most of the time it's just horror games. And then, I, after the stream around probably like 10 or 11, I grab a snack and then I go to bed and do it all over again.
Two things there. And one of it, I actually had it in my notes, but the other, you actually reminded me because I didn't write it down. And we kind of talked about this, I think, when we were chatting, getting into this.
Yeah.
I did ask you about this, but only in one aspect of it. So obviously we do know, I say this tongue in cheek, but it is out there. There are internet trolls, and not so much trolls, but there's the creepy guys and girls, and I'm not saying it one way. You get those creepy folks that look at her, she's got this, just run the gamut. So how often would you say you see and deal with the creepy folks?
So
go ahead with that.
So I actually on Twitch, not so much. I mean, you get like the random bots that are like, sell or promote your stream on this or whatever, and then you just block them because they're just bots. I mean, I definitely have gotten like, oh, she's like only doing this for like attention, or she's only doing this because she has big boobs, and I'm like, where's your stuff? Like, if you think it's so easy and I'm just like getting the views because I'm a woman, which yes, that is a huge advantage. Any person that thinks otherwise is crazy. Because being a woman just in general is an easier path in the internet world. But there's so much more. But again, I'm always like, where's your stuff? If you're calling me out, like, you better have something to back it up with. And then obviously, if they're being a douchebag in chat, like, the community really, like, we really stick together.
They rally.
We support each other. But on Instagram and Facebook is where most of the creeps are, surprisingly. There are some real gross people in the world.
Like I said, some of the comments, I wouldn't be surprised, but I'm sure it's but on the other side of that too, it's like, I gotta go. And I'm not defending the creeps or anything.
No.
But I'm sure there. Excuse me. I'm sure there's ones that come across comments and all. You go, that's creepy as fuck. But damn, that was actually pretty good.
Oh,
you know what I'm saying?
Yes.
You go. I'll give you kudos for that one. You know, you go.
I've definitely done that before. I've definitely been like, oh, that was good. That was a good comment, but
you're creepy as fuck. But
yeah, exactly.
Okay, touche.
Exactly. And like, well, it would be stupid for me to be like, yeah, no, I'm not like shaking my chest for no reason. Like, there's a reason behind it. Sex sells, but I do it in a way that I personally feel like is more classy. Like, there's value to what I bring to the platforms like Facebook, Instagram, TikTok. All of those are very separate from my OnlyFans. OnlyFans is like Nuggs After Dark, and then everything else is like business,
casual,
or business oriented with a like some thigh, I guess would be how to do would be how I put it.
And now people won't see the video, and there'll only be pictures of Nuggs and stuff on the YouTube version of this. But I was, as she was saying that, I start pulling out my I can't remember which film it was, because he always incorporated it in all his films. But I was pulling out my Chris Farley, with the finger and exactly. As she was saying that. So I gotta be completely honest. Well, with that being said, before I ask the technical question, is the creeps and the obviously sex sells, and like I said, as I like to say, there's more layers to the onion than just
what you see,
the physical aspect of Nuggs, or anyone who is on both sides of the spectrum.
Yeah.
So what does your husband think of all this stuff? Because there was a couple of pictures I saw.
Yes.
And I kind of chuckled from the holidays. Was that your husband that was in the pictures?
Yes.
Okay. That you were wishing happy holidays. And I got, that's actually creative. And she's teasing the hell out of him. But that was good with the way she did the pictures. So what's he think of what you do and what you established over the past 3 years?
He is super supportive. He is my main editor. He also runs House of Everlasting Shadow. So we're both in this industry, which is both extremely helpful, and scheduling and getting everything done is crazy when both of our jobs are content based. So managing life, personal life, family, job, and everything else is crazy, because not only is it me and all of my platform and all of my content, but then it's all of his content and platforms. But yeah, it's super supportive.
So he gets it though.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I mean, money. I'm not gonna. He also writes a lot, so that helps with like factoring in like time management, because he can like write his book on his phone or like on a tablet while I'm, taking care of work essentially.
Yeah. Because I would think, and we all know what they say about assuming, that there could be some jealousy.
Oh, for sure.
Because of, and I never met him, never spoke to him. I don't know. So, there's been no communication here. There could be some jealousy because of the content. But I would also think on the flip side of that, though, I would like to hope he's comfortable to go. End of the day, I'm good. She's with me. We're happy. We're, you know what I mean? On the personal side of things.
Yeah, that's pretty much where we are. And because of the type of content that I do put out that is on OnlyFans, it's nothing that, yes, some of them are topless, but like that, it would be nothing that most people would like shake a stick at, like, oh, she did that.
How dare you?
Exactly. And like I said, because I'm not doing porn or anything like that, the jealousy aspect doesn't factor in, because like super supportive, super like body positive, and
right on. I'm all about that. You sold me on that end. But no, I mean that respectfully, that hey, it's all about, everybody comes to different shapes and sizes, and it is what it is. But tech side of stuff with the streaming and all.
Sure.
What kind of systems and what do you use to make sure everything is up and running? We're taping this on Zoom, but what is your kind of
setup? So because both of us are in content creation, we have two I would say top of the line PCs. We have, let's see, 1, 2, 3, like 5 or 6 monitors that we use right now. I'm in front of all of them. I use OBS for streaming and recording. I also, right now, I'm using my phone as my camera. I have a Galaxy S Plus or something. Very good. But everything that I have acquired tech wise has been over the course of the 3 years. We literally started in a rundown barn with dirty power and a blue blanket as our green screen. So like you can do this if you are looking to get started. Light and sound are key if you're going to be on camera. That will propel you to look more professional than you actually are. And this, I guess, lends back to like the MacGyver reference of everything that I've gotten up until here has pretty much been MacGyvered at some point. And it's just taken consistency, which is something that I had to really work on. Consistency and just doing it propelled me to be able to get, like a good graphics card and 6 monitors and all of that stuff. But I have I have a Hypercast X mic. We just got all kinds of fancy stuff now, but I literally started.
It takes time. Yeah,
absolutely. I literally started with nothing in a rundown barn. So,
but I was going to say about Ray there, the way he couldn't think of any questions. He knows I've started from nothing to over to 10 years where we're at. And do we have millions of followers and stuff? No, but it's the audience is loyal, like you said, with your core group. So to wrap, and I do appreciate the time, is obviously we mentioned OnlyFans, we mentioned Twitch and all that fun stuff. But what would you say is the biggest outlet or the best outlet for people to see? Obviously, I connected with you on IG. You have Facebook. And we'll have links to everything, her LinkedIn and everything on all versions of this. So where would you say people check me out here?
Instagram is definitely one of my highest and more, I don't want to say more used, but it definitely has more traffic. My hierarchy is like of traction is like Instagram, now OnlyFans, Twitch, Facebook, YouTube. Because I've been slacking on the YouTube side, which I'm working on getting better at. Mostly it's a scheduling thing, and then I forget, and then I am like, oh crap, I forgot. But yeah, Instagram is probably the best. That is my, my face, I guess, like what most people see. That has the highest follower count. But yeah, if you're into Facebook, I'm on there too.
So make sure you check the links. Check them all out. Support her if you like what you see, whether it's subscribing to her Twitch or subscribing to OnlyFans. Yeah, whatever. Hit the like buttons on Instagram and all that fun stuff. And just
because I talk to my community. Like I try. I've always wanted to have a community where people feel comfortable, where we can talk about our common interests without getting at each other's throats. So I always respond for the most part with as best I can. Messaging is not necessarily, unless it's like business orientated. I generally don't answer too many messages unless it's like business or like about horror. Because Instagram is pretty toxic and creepy, especially in the DMs.
I'm doing my Farley, but a creepier Farley. Okay.
But yeah, I try and have a really good relationship with my community, which we call each other the survivors, because we not only do we survive every day, we survive past traumas. We're here now, like people are spending their time with me. We survive the stream together. We survive the internet together. Everyone has their own quote unquote survival story. Plus it's on brand. I felt like it was really appropriate. But yeah, I just am really big into my community and making everyone feel awesome.
And I mentioned about the millions and millions that listen to us. And, it's funny. I'm the same way. I try to be the door for communication is always open because, and Ray can testify to this, because I'm going to pay him $100 when we're done, but also in general that I always keep the door open because the people that do support the show, and I wouldn't do it if we didn't have the amount of people that support.
Exactly.
They've helped financially support the show, the listens, the watch alongs, the different things we've done. Yeah, if it wasn't for the supporters, and I don't have the ego going, well, stick it up your ass, right? No, I'm going to communicate with you. But I wanted to mention this earlier because we got sidetracked on different things. It was funny because we were talking about Terrifier 2 and you mentioned about the final girl, and it kind of spoiled things for you too. And I thought it was funny, not with Terrifier, but because we used the term final girl and final girl is in your name. And this Friday, obviously, as it is, we're recording this on the 10th, and Friday is the 13th. Ooh, creepy. And I do got the Scream Factory set over on this shelf.
Mhm.
I just found it funny, and I was talking about the relationships I have with previous guests, and
Mhm.
hopefully you're going to be on the good side of this as well. I got good vibes about it. Now, as a person, I got a good bullshit detector being a
Exactly.
Northeasterner.
Yep.
And definitely nothing but positive vibes about you. So I hope you stay on this. We keep open door communication and
Absolutely.
collaborations and all. But anyway, that's a whole different thing. The reason I said Friday the 13th and Final Girls and all that was going there. Sometimes the ADHD there, it was
seriously, it's a struggle.
I was actually texting because I thought about doing a Friday stream for Friday the 13th again, but I don't think I'm going to be able to because the few I reached out to from the franchise, we, scheduling, they're going to be busy on Friday the 13th.
Absolutely. Yeah.
But it was funny that I was texting with a friend of the show who was a Final Girl from who we say she's a Final Girl, even though she died in part 2. The queen of the brown panties. And I know when she hears this, my phone is going to ring. Lauren Marie Taylor. Yeah. She's become a good friend. And I joke about that. Yeah. And I had this up because you mentioned the Final Girls. I don't know if you could see my phone, and we were actually texting.
That's awesome.
She's going to be it was funny. I said, hey, like I said, I sent a text to him. So what's your Friday the 13th look like this week, right? Just to kind of feeling the water out.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Like I said, she says, I can't join a stream, but I'm actually going to be in your neck of the woods in Philly.
Nice.
Oh, really? And I got, they're doing something with the movie at a local theater. And I'm like, well, I certainly ain't streaming. I'm not going to host a stream. I said, so what time are you getting to town? Well,
Exactly.
Yeah. It's nice that I got that kind of relationship. I could say, because I got a gift card for a steakhouse. I said,
nice.
Well, depending on what time you get here, you want to go get food?
Yeah, exactly. I mean, who can say no to food?
And be a real, and that's the thing I like about everybody like yourself and Billy Veer I just spoke with yesterday, and just people in country music and acting, and Ray knows wrestling and the whole gamut. It's like I like dealing with the real people. And like I said earlier, there's many layers to the onion. And we can talk about, oh, well, you did this, you did that. Fanboy or fangirl out. But it's like there's more too. And I think that's why I built the relationships I did from my end. And I know you, with your fan base, you built, because there's that authenticity too.
Yeah, that's definitely
what
something
we do.
That I've always wanted to bring, because there is also the preconceived notion that like everything on the internet is a lie. And
but the other side there, everything on the internet is true, correct?
Exactly.
God bless the internet.
So I wanted to bring like real, me just on available for other people to see is pretty much
professionally, folks.
Professionally.
No.
Yeah.
I'll throw that in there. No, but yeah. And like I said, I pride myself being a Northeast guy, and we will sniff out the authenticity.
Yeah.
And if you're trying to bullshit people, from, even though you're in Maine, know this northern half of the country that we're in. I happen to be in the armpit of the area in Philadelphia. Plenty of deodorant, thank God. But we tend, notice like anybody else, we tend to know when people aren't being authentic.
Absolutely.
So I like to have the authentic presentation, like what you do with your stuff.
No, that's awesome.
Nuggs The Final Girl, we will have links to everything she does, her LinkedIn, her Facebook, TikTok, OnlyFans, Twitch, the whole gamut of what she has.
It's all
have
in
links to
It's all in my link tree. So it's just linktr.ee/NTFG, which is Nuggs The Final Girl.
Well, I thought you were going to go with the Happy Gilmore line there. It's all in the hips.
Work with me now. It's all in the head. Yeah, it's all in the hips. It's all in the hips.
Get off of me.
Hey, just easing the tension, baby.
I should have missed opportunity.
Yeah, as soon as she started answering that, when she starts saying it's all in the link tree, I'm thinking she's going to pull out her Chubbs here again. Or her Carl Weathers. It's all in the hips. It's all in the twitch. Yeah, there you go. We like it. I like it how she said that.
There you go.
Nuggs, thank you so much for the time.
Thank you for having me. It's been a blast.
Hey there, Friday fans. We know how much you enjoy the movies. Enjoy grabbing your Friday merchandise and interacting with the Friday family, whether it be at conventions or during our particular watch-alongs. Well, when you're looking to get yourself masks, why not check out our friends over at Camp Blood Customs out of New York State and order your specific custom mask from any of the films. All orders are made specifically. Your needs and wants are. Make sure you find Camp Blood Customs on Facebook, Instagram, and all over social media and order yours today.
Hey, this is Kane Hodder. You are listening to Crazy Train Radio. Keep listening, or else.